Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, it's your favorite history teacher back at you again with another historical video. And today we start off our new school year with our first unit, even though um, it's a short unit. I still call it unit 0, just ground zero. We're starting at the basics. So um, let's get out those notebooks and start writing. Let me share my screen. Do 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 do. All right. So types of government. Where did government come from? So um, throughout world history, there are many different types of governments that we'll be discussing, and more or less they're interchangeable from century to century, every couple hundred years. So let's talk about the big basic ones. All right, so monarchy um, can be traced back to 750 BCE. BCE stands for before the Common Era. Greek kings ruled a polis or city. King or queen is the ruler or emperor and empress, and they control the land, the country, and its citizens. Their rule is divine, meaning it's given to them by God. It is hereditary, meaning the right to rule is passed down from one generation to the next. So there are two types of monarchies. The ones that we're going to look at a lot are absolute monarchs, where the ruler has complete authority over land and its citizens. And then we have constitutional monarchy, which is more prevalent today, where there's a democratic form of government limiting the monarch's control. So a good example is King Henry VIII. This is King Henry VIII, absolute monarch. And this is new King of England, Charles III, since the Queen passed away. All right, autocracy, not autocracy. Autocracy is where one person or a group of people have unlimited power and the citizens have little, if any, role in the government. So autocracy is more or less a like umbrella term, meaning that there are different types of different types of autocratic governments that fall under this umbrella. And the three are authoritarian, totalitarian, and dictatorship. One such autocratic government in the past is the Romanovs from the Russian Empire. If you've ever seen Anastasia, the movie, that's about her. This is her, Anastasia. All right, so authoritarian. In 600 BCE, Sparta will become a military state. Military rule is characterized by or favoring absolute obedience to authority. Their leader has complete political control with no accountability for their actions. They are not responsible to the will of the people. They censor the media. Freedoms are restricted, but citizens have some economic and some social freedoms. Not a lot, though. It's not that great. This is more or less what has occurred since, like, the 1700s. Not when it was like in Sparta. Obviously, they have more. That if you were a citizen, you had more capability of social and economic freedoms. So, when we talk about Sparta, we talk about King Leonidas Sparta. If you ever seen 300, you know what I'm talking about. All right, totalitarian what is where the state has complete authority over all aspects of life, economic, social, and political aspects. It's also based on an ideology, meaning It's what some people think should happen, and they follow the rules. So there's absolutely no opposition allowed. Media is completely controlled, and it is used to control the people. Media being like news, radio. They're controlling through violence or terror, and everyone is subordinated to the ruling party. Everyone is below the ruling party. So one such government leader example is Joseph Stalin. All right, dictatorship. It is where one person has complete control over the government. However, they're usually not elected. They use oppressing manners to gain control, and it doesn't always have complete. They don't always have complete control over the population, and that's because there's usually a small minority of the people who oppose the ruler. Again, a dictatorship is someone who like usurps power, takes over a country, even though they didn't want it. And so that's a dictator. And one such dictator in the past was Saddam Hussein. All right, a new style of just a new type. You have aristocracy. Aristocracy. It was developed in Athens, 700 BCE, where they were ruled by. In this government, it is ruled by noble landlords. It's also hereditary, meaning the wealth is passed down, and rule is based on wealth, social rank, and family ties. Social status and wealth support the authority to rule. Nobles report to one main leader, and they also support authoritarian rule. So, if you have money, you can put people in power that you like or that will listen to you because, well, you got the shmoney. So, this is Athens, the wealthy. So, another such government is oligarchy. Oligarchy is, or oligarch, oligarchy just sounds better. So the state is controlled by a selected few, usually wealthy businessmen. Sometimes a small group will exercise control, especially for corrupt and selfish purposes. Their rule is based on wealth or the ability to obtain wealth. And citizens have limited roles, and oligarchs control the military. So using the military to get by. It's kind of like a little branch off of aristocracy. But that's hereditary. And here you just have businessmen making moves. One such example is Vladimir Putin, current Russian president. And if you've heard of all these Russian oligarchs throughout the last couple of years with the war in Ukraine, my favorite soccer team, Chelsea, used to be owned by a Russian oligarch. Roman Abramovich no longer owns the team, but that's the current state of where we're at. All right, talk about current state. We're talking about democracy, and that's where power in the government rests with the people and is exercised by them directly or indirectly. So there are two types of democracy. There are direct and indirect democracy. Direct democracy is where people actually participate and their vote counts and their vote matters, and every vote, everyone can hear out their opinions. And then there are two types of indirect democracy or representative democracy. You have parliamentary democracy and you have presidential democracy. Parliamentary democracy is led by representatives of the people. They're chosen as a member of a political party, and their leader is called the prime minister. You have presidential democracy, where the president is constitutionally independent from the legislature. They are elected. Presidential. So, example, Parliament in England. This is the House of Parliament. And of course, our United States presidents, who are current. These are the current living presidents: Trump, Obama, Clinton. Where's Jimmy Carter, still alive, 98 years old. Joe Biden and George. They're wearing black because this is George H.W. The funeral. So George W. Bush Jr. He's not in the picture, but so we have 5 current past living presidents. So a little comparison: direct democracy, control remains in the hands of the voters, and majority rule decides the vote. In indirect democracy or representative democracy, people don't exercise power directly unless at the local level. A little asterisk there. Elected representatives make decisions for the people, and the Constitution lays basic organization operation of the government and states its limitations. And last one, anarchy. There's no government, the absence of government. That is an anarchic society. The strong take over the weak, and in anarchy, people believe that the government is a bad thing that stops people from organizing their lives. And sometimes governments need to be in place to have such organization, you know? Just my little opinions. Okay. That's going to conclude our first presentation, our first look into world history. So we'll stop there, and you know, it was a short presentation. Hopefully you picked up on some things. If not, maybe you'll learn a little bit more through the project we're about to do shortly. All right. As always, if you guys did enjoy that, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.